So good day! Today I greet you, and first of all I would really like to thank you because in the Facebook group Cannabis for Animals, last week we discussed which direction this group should actually take moving forward. What kind of posts would interest you, what would you like to read, what would enrich you, because that's also the purpose of this group, so that you too can take something away from it. So 90% of you agreed on the same answer. You want us to share with you the testimonials from our customers, right? At the same time, you also want to share some current studies and ongoing research. And based on that, we're here today to talk about the facts. The first fact is something we must not forget, which is that there are a number of studies confirming the effects of CBD in a dog's body. CBD actually works in a dog's body through the so-called endocannabinoid system. Every mammal has an endocannabinoid system in their body. This system influences important life functions and through it affects certain problems. I'd like to start, for example, with epilepsy because that's one of the most common conditions for which people actually seek out CBD. From our experience, we know that CBD helps reduce the frequency of seizures, and this is also supported by a 2017 study conducted in America, which found that in 89% of dogs who received CBD, the frequency of seizures decreased by as much as 1/3. This study was conducted over a period of 12 weeks. Scientists believe that if the study had lasted even longer, they might have achieved up to a 50% reduction in seizures. Another common reason people seek out CBD is usually pain, which is often associated with some form of arthritis or musculoskeletal disorder. Here we can look at a study which found that administering CBD oil at a dose of 2 mg per kilogram of body weight, and in some individuals even up to 8 mg per kilogram, this study nicely highlights how individualized dosing can be. Given twice daily, it significantly helped improve comfort and activity in up to 80% of older dogs with osteoarthritis. Moreover, no side effects were observed. Another study lasted 4 weeks, and here there was a significant reduction in pain and an increase in mobility in dogs with arthritis, almost directly dependent on the dosage. However, in this case, they worked with liposomal CBD, which is not yet approved for use in animals. Another very common reason is usually your questions like, my dog is licking its paws or scratching its ears a lot. In 90% of cases, allergies are to blame. So, are you seeking out CBD because your dog suffers from allergies and you want to help alleviate the symptoms? And here I have a study from 2005. This is actually an almost 20-year-old study that demonstrates that CBD has strong antihistamine effects in both humans and dogs. But be careful. In cases of severe allergies where tissues in the nose, throat and mouth are often inflamed, the anti-inflammatory properties of CBD can help reduce this extreme reaction and thus alleviate the symptoms. A more recent study from 2015 found that CBD may be an effective treatment for specific diseases characterized by inflammation, which play an important role in the development of allergies. And last but not least, a very common factor is the psychological state, which many of you deal with in your dogs, whether it's separation anxiety, either in sheltered dogs or even in dogs where this separation anxiety has simply developed over the years. And there are already a lot of studies specifically on separation anxiety and the psychological state in general. In fact, there is even sufficient evidence of the therapeutic potential of CBD, specifically for anxiety in dogs. To be specific, as of 2020, which is already 4 years ago, 76 studies had been conducted, all of which collectively reached the same conclusion, that CBD is a promising treatment for stress and anxiety. So even though, as you wish, we will share with you real experiences from our practice, from what you write to us in the Cannabis Counseling Service, don't forget that there is already sufficient evidence and studies showing that CBD really does help dogs. It's not made up, it's confirmed. We've selected for you here the most interesting studies on the most common problems you deal with regarding your dogs. So thank you for your attention, and we look forward to growing together.